Welcome back to Roll Call.
Cold open.
I totally just interrupted Brayden. Hey, thanks for joining us for our shorter segments over the summer. As you guys know, it's just hard to get all of us guys in the same place over the summer. Yeah. I'm actually probably in Korea right now as you guys are listening to that. Fun fact.
It's hard to talk to people.
We've recorded these in advance. We're just doing these 8-minute segments. Brayden as always. So today we're going to be doing 1v5s. And I'm going to... Actually, you know what? We could just go our 1v5s. Yeah. I won't even set a timer.
First topic. John doesn't think ADHD is real.
That is true. I do not.
All right, John.
I believe that ADHD is a construct made by doctors to justify so that parents can justify being shitty parents.
Or to make more money.
Yeah.
Money's always
so that
a driver.
they can blame their terrible abilities of raising children on something that's completely out of their control.
What behaviors mimic bad parenting in ADHD?
Well, just a general inattentiveness and inability to respect someone's
authority.
Authority, yeah.
Sure.
John doesn't think that ADHD is real. I have ADHD.
Diagnosed ADHD.
Diagnosed, and I will tell you.
So, John just threw mad shade at Josiah's parents.
John threw total mad shade at me, and I will tell you, I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until 9th grade. So it was only 4 years ago. And my whole life, my parents thought that I was just lazy and disrespectful and rebellious. And it was actually, my brain can't organize.
Well,
actually, my brain can't sit there and do things I don't want to do for long periods of time. And if you look also at my family line, my grandmother has it bad. I know exactly where I got it from. And if you met her, you would understand. But it is absolutely overdiagnosed.
Absolutely.
And Jack and I were talking about this. It's because of the education system. The education system is, in America at least, is designed for girls. It's designed for how girls learn. It's not designed for how boys learn. Asking an 8-year-old boy to sit still in a chair
for 7 hours.
7 to 8 hours in a day. Why do you think they have recess? Recess isn't for the girls.
No.
The girls' recess is lunchtime. They get to talk with their... that's what they love to do, right? Going outside and moving and being physical, that is for young boys.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what we need. Because of that, a lot of boys struggle in school just for being boys, and then it gets overdiagnosed as ADHD. So it is simultaneously, it's one of the few things that is both overdiagnosed and underdiagnosed. Because people like me can slip through the system. I don't understand, guys, how I went through 9 grades of school with no one recognizing that I had ADHD.
That's stupid.
It wasn't until 9th grade. That's insane. I did online homeschool without people realizing it. It was incredibly difficult, and I only got through it because what are y'all whispering about? Because I was able to be disciplined. Most people aren't like that, but it exists. It's overdiagnosed and underdiagnosed, and John kind of hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry. Okay, I should be more. I mostly am referring to I am willing to accept that ADHD as an actual mental disorder is a real thing that people do suffer from. I just believe that it only affects 5% of people who actually have
I would agree with that completely.
And to give context, audience, John did tell us that apparently 60% of people where he's from are diagnosed with ADHD.
Yes.
Quote unquote.
That's just absurd.
This isn't there is something with I go to a private school. I did go to a private school, excuse me. And pretty much everyone was doctors' children. And for the ACT, they had this thing where if you were diagnosed with ADHD,
you get extra minutes.
Then you get
unmedicated or medicated?
Medicated for it.
So if you have the solution, you get extra time?
Yes, you get.
That's
absurd. You get 50%, which is nonsense.
That's
what you
need.
It is so stupid, and people because everyone's parents are doctors, they can do it super easily.
Right.
I never did it because I thought it was cheating. And the 3 people who got the highest on the ACT in my class, none of them had it. Is the thing.
Interesting. Ethan, what's up?
The issue with ADHD is that it is so overdiagnosed because of the fact that people will diagnose it if you can't focus.
Yep.
Or if you're so super energetic, and those are 2 very broad things. The only issue with ADHD is it is usually when it's real, it's consistent patterns of like
That's
behavior
what it was to me. Yeah.
That like genuinely affect like your daily life.
Yes.
It's not necessarily just like not being able to focus.
I think if like the
Absolutely.
majority of people just get a eat right and then get like a consistent sleep schedule, I think they would be able to
Moving to working out.
yeah and work out. They would be able to focus
I
like
think
for real.
absolutely.
Yeah, like my thing is just like out of the like 50 people in my high school who claims to have it, maybe like 3 of them actually did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably that
I
accurate.
could say like,
Here's-
here's
my thing about it. ADHD, it's neurodivergency. It's supposed to separate from the norm.
Right.
And it's only stigmatized now that we're in this
It's just
fake
normal.
construct of society. It's actually been proven it was the trait of elite hunters in hunter-gatherer days.
Which makes
because
sense.
the ability to lock in and stare at an empty field
Just
for
hyperfixation.
12 hours. Hyperfixation,
Yeah.
hyper noticing. If anything's off with ADHD, you notice it. You're able to focus in on one thing, you're able to lock in on one thing, and the like losing track of time, whatever, like all that, like it doesn't matter because you're lasered in on one task. If you think about it, how common were elite hunters?
See,
when you
that-
think about the village elite hunter,
Yeah.
it's not common. And almost always it passes down. Like the dad who's the elite hunter, his son ends up becoming like the best hunter in the village. It's because it's genetic, because they're passing down the uncommon
See, that's
neurodivergency.
That's interesting because, like, for OCD, for example, which I have, I
can
experienced,
see that.
yeah, I experienced this. I experienced, like
Yeah.
hyperfixation, hyper noticing, like those specific traits. I feel like go with both, but
Yeah.
ADHD has a lot more of the that.
Well, the interesting thing with ADHD is, in that hunter sense, you see a lot of young boys probably mimic some of the traits, and that makes sense if we're all
Yeah.
supposed to be, in that hunter-gatherer society. But most people can be socialized out of it, and I think that's some of the
Right.
difficulty. Is if you see someone with the symptom clusters, because we can't do any mechanistic diagnosis, it's all symptom clusters. Then young boys that haven't yet been socialized
Right.
are confused with the people that actually have the trait to be more in that direction.
Right. And if you have just terrible luck like me, and you end up, when you're a young boy who should be socialized, moving to the wilderness like Alaska, where hunting is then encouraged, and
Yeah,
your ADHD
absolutely.
traits are like augmented, and then also you're still forced to go to school. It just roll tide. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Please support the show. It really helps us. We'll see y'all next week.
Roll Tide.
Okay, I'm very sorry.
You have ADHD. Let us know.